Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Hopefully everybody's doing great, and if you don't mind, subscribe. Well, it's Tuesday morning, day after payday for me. Oh, I've been reading posts and so forth from different groups, and I've noticed there's been a trend. More and more people are posting they're having difficulties with the banks in their home country. Getting new ATM cards, accounts put on hold. And being here in the Philippines and getting cut off from their resources, that could be devastating. How come I don't have a problem? Well, like in the post I've been seeing, the banks are demanding physical addresses. And it looks like they're getting away from the mail forwarding services and requiring a legitimate phone number and so forth. I don't have those issues. Why? That's because I didn't leave any assets behind. And I can understand why some people still maintain their accounts in their home country. If you still have assets that you're hanging on to, that's understandable. And I don't blame you. I'd be doing the same thing as you are. But I don't have any assets. So if you fall into my category, where you are dependent on Social Security or some other form of pension, and that's your sole source of income, I would advise considering, if you're going to live here permanently, to open an account with a Philippine bank. Now, there are some banks I wouldn't do business with for several different reasons. Some require that if you open an account up at a branch, you need to do an over-the-counter like I do every month. Go to the bank and sign my little form and transfer my funds over into a peso account so that I have funds into my account to use my ATM cards. One time a month. Now, how difficult is that? I'll go in and sign a little form in two different places, one that I received the money and one I authorized to deduct the money from my pension account. Notice I said pension account. There's a reason for that. If you ask for anything differently, I'll just be honest with you, they look at you like deer been hit with headlights. I know. That's another thing you'll find different here in the Philippines. When you ask for something and you're not using their terminology, they can't comprehend. But anyway, that's how simple it is for me to take care of my financial on at the bank. Now, if you do have a pension account, you're the only one authorized to debit from that account. Now, there are ways around that if you're in a very poor health condition. I do have one friend that his wife had it was a lot of red tape to do it, but she is authorized, appointed to the bank, and she does his banking. He just no longer physically able to go to the bank. Sad to say. But they got it done, thankfully. And the last few times I seen him at the bank, he struggled. But I don't know the process of doing that. So forgive me for that. Maybe one of these days I'll have to do it myself. Who knows? When it does happen, naturally I'll do my best to inform you of the process I'm going through. But at this point in time, I've not researched it and don't know the process. And the good part about it, for the last almost 14 years or 13 and a half years doing banking here in the Philippines, I've had no issues. Now, I did open up with a bank that's been around a long time. And it's BPI, Bank of the Philippine Islands. And I can go to any branch and do over-the-counters. That's the good side of it. And their cards works everywhere in the Philippines. And I have been to different branches from time to time, and I can vouch you can do it. Now, I do have another account with Philippine National Bank, PNB. And it's the same way. So if you decide you're going to open an account up here, the best thing to find out before you open the account, ask them what their restrictions are if you're on another island or decide to move to another island. What would be their process? Like I said, it'd be difficult to, say if I had to run back to my original branch. That means a trip to Cebu every month, which would be not feasible. Having my coffee. Grace and I yesterday decided not to do our monthly grocery shopping till this coming Friday. We might actually move it up a day. We do once a month. That's where we get our cleaning supplies and major purchases for the month. Naturally, we keep enough supplies on hand to go beyond the month. Which I'm glad of that. That way we can, at our discretion, if we decide we want to wait, we can. But that's what we plan on doing. You got to excuse me. Early in the morning, my allergies have a tendency to be disturbing. That's a lifetime thing I've had to deal with. But that's a little preview of things you can expect. If you're on a limited income, in my opinion, it don't make sense if you want to live here and maintain an account that you're in limbo on. And in my case, I don't even have anybody in the U.S. that has time that can take care of my banking, even if it's on the account. That would be difficult. I tried that when I first came here, to be honest with you. And you'd be surprised how difficult it ends up being when you're trying to depend on someone else. That's what made me have a change of mind after being here for a short period of time. You can't depend on nobody, period. So I experienced some difficulty in the beginning getting my money after being here, I think, a couple months. I think it was. And, at that time, I had no knowledge of what I could do. I just knew I was getting desperate because it was getting harder to get my money for no reason. And having someone to actually go do the withdrawal and send me the money and so forth, that was getting that was interfering with their daily routine, and you know how that works. Even though they was a family member, they didn't want to take time out in their day to help out, even though it was just once a month. So, you know, you'd be surprised how people change when you're not there. So now I'm totally independent. I don't have to depend on nobody. Old number one right here, that's it. And you know, that's sad to say. Because when I was living there, you know, I was a phone call away. Regardless of what I was doing, I would help. And I did many times. But when it reversed, it was a struggle. But people ask, is banking here in the Philippines safe? Well, I've had no issues. 13 and a half years, no issues. I did have a ATM issue one time. It wasn't at my particular bank. It was actually another bank's ATM. We did a withdrawal and didn't get no money. Well, the bank had already closed, so we had to wait the next day to go inside. And we did that. And it's typical, I was already well aware of. Everything has to go through Manila. And the lady at the counter insured me once they do their audit, and it's confirmed that they would put the money back in my account. And it took approximately, I think, about 10 days. I got my money. Fortunately, you know, being conservative, as Grace and I are, it wasn't a large amount of money, but it was enough that it probably would affect some people. So, but we did get our money back. It wasn't really a big issue, just time taking it, getting it. So, folks, if you got anything out of this, don't mind, subscribe.